What is good, Reaper Squad? Welcome back to another video. Today I got you guys with Mr. Nightmare. Three disturbing true cruise ship horror stories. I ain't gonna hold you. I've been watching Mr. Nightmares for years. I used to fall asleep to this man's stories. Him, Mr. Ballin. I used to watch Ghost Adventures, like big type shit. Like I used to be into horror stuff, like big time, bro. But anyway, I'm not gonna talk too much this video. The link to this video is in the description down below. Instagram in the description down below. Everything you need to know about your boy will be in the description down below. Let's get into this video.
In honor of summer fast approaching, today's stories will be focused on people's horrific experiences on cruise ships. Before getting into the stories, I would like to thank this video's sponsor, June's Journey. If you're a big murder mystery or true crime person, June's Journey will be right up your alley. It's on PC through Facebook Games. My name is Shelby. My late husband Antonio was the best thing that ever happened to me. Long story short, he passed away in a motorcycle accident exactly 8 years ago as I'm writing this.
Passed away in a motorcycle accident.
What I'm about to tell you is something I've blocked out of my mind since it happened, but I think I'm finally ready to open up about it. Anyway, Antonio and I both grew up in Italy. English is actually my second language. He always dreamed of traveling to Greece, but we kept...
See, growing up in a different country, man, like seeing different places, I cannot wait to get money just so I can explore and like give back, bro. I want to I'm a Maryland ass nigga. I really only explored Maryland for real, and I barely even explored that. So like being able to like travel, man, that would be nice. Be nice to do.
Kept postponing the trip. One of my biggest regrets was not taking time off work one summer to go with him. In late spring of 2018, I decided to bite the bullet and take the trip he had always talked about. Being only 36 years old with no children, I didn't too much like the prospect of traveling alone, so I decided to book a cruise, thinking it would be more relaxing. I was actually in luck. Celebrity Cruise Line had a Best of Greece cruise that covered 6 cities: Athens, Santorini, Ephesus, Mykonos, Volos, Thessaloniki, and back to Athens.
I haven't heard of any of those fucking
places.
places. I'm not even lying.
Knowing it was what he would have wanted, but I couldn't help but find the whole thing somewhat melancholy. It just felt wrong to be there without him. Admittedly, I may have gotten a little too wine drunk the first night after leaving Athens, but I felt I was entitled to behave less prudently. After exiting the boat and enjoying the city's offerings, I found myself drinking endless martini after martini at some nameless bar. That's when I noticed him across the bar. There was some 40-year-old looking man with long, straight brown hair and an unkempt beard. He wasn't bad looking actually, but his stare was unsettling. At first, I brushed it off as the wandering gaze of some
man. Y'all gotta watch out, man, for these old.
He found me attractive. I wasn't gonna get offended if he wanted to look at me.
I'm telling you.
After catching his eye,
women in general, man. Y'all need to watch out for these old men. Like, I don't care how many times y'all say it, you're not stronger than a man. Always have a man with you. Have a gun with you. Have something on you.
Times though,
be smart, man. Don't be dumb.
My knees begin to set in.
Don't get caught up.
Glaring at me was just so perturbing. It wasn't seductive or charming, like he was trying to flirt or anything like that. It was literally as if he were trying to sear a hole in my face with his eyes. I finished what must have been my 8th drink, paid my tab, and quickly made my way back to the dock. By that night,
it's a nice cruise down.
Had completely dissipated. The next city on the docket was Ephesus. My time there was essentially spent the same way, consuming far more alcohol.
Always one of the party cruises. I've seen them.
Other than some fleeting guilt.
I want to go on one of them. I'm gonna go on one of those. Watch.
Mykonos was next. I'm sure it won't come as a surprise to any of you at this point.
I'm definitely gonna go on one of them, and if y'all want me to vlog that shit, bro, like when I'm up there, bro, let me know.
Near the end of the day, I unavoidably found myself sitting alone at an outdoor bar, and that's when I noticed him. There was a man standing against a light fixture with his arms crossed. I strained my eyes, thinking my mind must have been playing a trick on me. It was unmistakable, though. It was the guy from Santorini. He was too far away for me to tell whether he was looking at me.
Here we go.
His head was tilted in my direction. Oddly, he was wearing the same exact outfit he had worn in Santorini.
Weird ass nigga.
Discomfort washed over me. Was I being stalked? My palms began feeling clammy, so I nervously rubbed them on my dress as I lowered my head,
Yo, we
trying to
getting
avoid
chills
looking
on
in
this
his direction.
motherfucker.
I could feel his aura radiating, though, even from that far away. I couldn't help myself. I glanced back up, but he was gone. You might expect my body to have flushed with relief, but I was actually even more anxious. I frantically began looking around, trying to see if he had gotten closer. I didn't feel comfortable walking back to the boat alone, so I ran
wouldn't
into
either.
a couple that was leaving and made some
Hell
small
nah.
talk. Then
Fuck
walked
that.
back with them.
I mean, even in general, I'm not going on that cruise alone. I'm at least having like 4 or 5 niggas with me, and them niggas gonna be next to me like damn near the whole time. So like I don't know what kind of shit this person's on, but hell nah.
At night, instead of retiring to my stateroom, I decided to explore the boat in hopes of running into that strange man. After scouring the boat in its entirety, I gave up around midnight. The next morning, I got off the boat in Volos, determined to solve this mystery. Instead of venturing into the city, I opted to wait at the gangway. I watched painfully for an inordinate amount of time as person after person made their way off the ship. I didn't miss a single one, but he wasn't one of them. Frustrated,
That nigga's still
I
on the
returned to
ship. He probably
and spent the
hiding.
rest of the day by the pool. Thessaloniki was the last city. As much as I dreaded it, I had to reconcile the fact that I'd be wasting my vacation if I stayed on the boat. So reluctantly, I got off the ship and tried to enjoy the city. Feeling superstitious, I thought it might be best to avoid bars and alcohol this time around, which I did. Instead, I wandered the streets aimlessly, admiring the architecture and enjoying the weather. And then, as if on cue, there he was again. He was a few streets down in the middle of the road.
Nah,
his
bro,
arms
this
at his
man's
sides.
definitely following you. You
Instead
might
of
want to
being
get the fuck.
afraid, I felt a huge rush of adrenaline-induced confidence.
And
start
you
to
still
pour.
told nobody about
I
this
yelled
man.
out to him and began walking in his direction. Instead of acknowledging me, he actually turned and ran. It was bizarre. He turned a corner, and I chased after him. I
I'm
made it
going
the
to end
corner,
this video
barely saw
after
him run down
story
another
2.
street, and I sprinted to follow him. I turned the same corner, and he had disappeared. Nowhere to be seen, like he had evaporated out of existence. I couldn't sleep that night. I was relieved when the ship pulled into Athens.
I would have been up
Once I
all
made it
night.
back
No,
home,
I would have told
couldn't
somebody.
shake
Come
the
on, I would have
nagging
been told
feeling of
somebody.
that man
Bro.
that was weighing on my mind. I whipped out my laptop and started doing research. I wasn't quite sure what to even look for, but I thought recent police reports were a decent place to start. After having no luck, I stumbled upon some missing persons advertisements. I scrolled through page after page, and then I found something. There, in the middle of the page, was a missing person ad for a guy who looked almost identical to the guy who had been following me.
Nigga,
I
what?
stared, frozen in shock. What was even more disturbing, though, was his name. He had the
He's
same
missing, but
first
he's
name
following
as
you?
my Antonio, which was a cruel coincidence. The very first thing I did was call the police and report my sightings. The operator thanked me for my assistance and put me on hold. A few minutes later, she asked me if I was 100% confident in what I had seen. I told her yes. After an uncomfortable pause, she went on to say that they had actually closed that man's case just over a month ago. Apparently, he had been found dead in a boating accident off the coast of Parga, Greece.
Faked his
More
death.
sinister, though, is the date of his confirmed death was the exact realization slapped me in the face. The only city I hadn't seen him in, Ephesus, was actually a city in Turkey, not Greece. I'm not a believer of the paranormal, but I've spent hours trying to rationalize my sightings, and no conclusion I reach makes sense.
I'm definitely a believer in the
My niece
paranormal.
Maria had her wedding.
My bad, y'all. My computer died for sure. I'm definitely a believer in the paranormal. This guy said he's not. The reason why I am, I've had sleep paralysis. That shit is so real. Like if you wake up, bro, I'm telling you, this shit is so real, bro. You would not want to go back to sleep after having sleep paralysis, bro.
Wedding in Athens last summer, though, so I had no choice. And like clockwork, there he was again. I only saw him for a split second this time, standing in that same outfit by the bar, head pointed in my direction. To be completely honest with you, there were so many drunk people there that I might have imagined it. Either way, I vowed to never step foot in Greece again.
That wouldn't keep me from Greece, but that would keep me from that spot.
If you're a web designer, here are
For
4
sure.
Wix Studio features you gotta know.
You got Devin B.
I'm a senior at Rowan University in South Jersey. My friends in the sorority Phi call me Devin. Last summer, I took a Bahamas cruise with some of my girlfriends to let off some steam. We had all
See,
just
if you guys do not know, I'm 19, bro. I graduated already. I'm not planning on going to college. I'm planning on doing this, full committing into this shit, bro. Full committed. I'm like, the grind is personal.
turned
I'm on it.
21, so our goals for this vacation were to drink more, and have fun. We all felt like we deserved this vacation after such
Not
a
really a
grueling
drinker, bro. I'd
semester
rather
spent
smoke.
dealing with
Fuck
Greek
that.
life drama and schoolwork. Anyway, I'll keep things short. I was with my friends Talo, Messina, and Taylor. Taylor and I didn't always see eye to eye. There was some petty drama between the two of us. I always assumed she was jealous of me because she never spent any time in the gym and spent a lot of time eating. I think you can see what I'm getting at. Anyway, I was really close with Talo and Messina, so I figured things would be peachy. The cruise line we had booked was Carnival, and it would be going to a couple of Bahamas islands before returning to New York City. The boat pulled into literally the first destination, called Paradise Island. Long story short, all four of us were
Bro,
really
I want to
wasted
go
at the
to
bar,
Paradise
laughing
Island.
and flirting with guys.
Like I said near the beginning of the video, if I was to make it, bro, I'm telling you, I would visit places. I would love to visit places. I would vlog every single bit of it
So they'd buy us drinks.
just for you guys, bro.
It was actually really fun.
That shit sounds fun.
Messina asked me if I would grab her a drink, so I did. I went up to the bar, ordered the drinks, and waited. Messina followed me to grab hers. The drinks came out, but I really wanted to take a selfie with her before we went back to our table. I pulled out my phone and took a couple selfies with the drinks. Just then, Talo called Messina over, and being as drunk as she was, she went bounding off without me, leaving her drink behind. I didn't want someone to steal her drink, so I put my phone on the bar and grabbed her drink with my other hand. With both
You go on the
drinks,
cruise,
I made my way
the
to where
cruise,
they were
the
sitting
cruise
and
shit
made fun of
land,
Messina for being
and
so
then you split up
forgetful.
when you get on land.
Pretty soon
That makes
after
no
that,
sense.
we had to start making our way back towards the boat. The literal
And you're
second
drunk
the boat pulled
when you
away,
split up.
I started frantically searching for my phone. I felt like such an idiot. I had left it at the bar. I started crying, knowing this would for sure ruin our trip. I wanted to jump overboard for losing my phone on
I'm
the
going
first
home
day
after
of the
that.
cruise. I pulled out my laptop to try and locate my phone's location. To my
Somebody got your
surprise,
shit.
It wasn't on the island, but it was actually showing up as somewhere on the boat. It was hard to pinpoint exactly where its location was, but I was relieved to think that someone must have found it and returned it to the Lost and Found or something. I went up to Lost and Found, but they said no one had turned a phone in. Any relief I had
Nobody's
was
turning no
completely
phone in,
gone
bro.
now. Why would someone take my phone if they weren't planning on returning it? I went back to my friends and cried about it again. Talo told me not to worry about it, and that I should just try enjoying the trip as best I could. So that's what I did. I didn't think about it for a whole day, which I was really proud of. You never realize how much time you actually spend on your phone. I kept going to take selfies
Right.
and check social media, only to realize
Right.
I had no way of doing so.
I don't
Next
know.
day-
I would need it to take that view, some view pictures, sky, all that shit. I don't know. Sometimes, I'm not going on no cruise without my phone, bro. I'm just thinking about it. I'm really thinking hard. I'm not going on no cruise without my phone. Cause what the fuck?
Hey, though, while I was in the very front of the boat, I
I'm
pulled
gonna
my
need me a
laptop
nice
out of my
blunt.
bag to check my
I'm gonna
phone's
need my
location
phone.
just out of curiosity.
Take some pictures.
To my surprise, it was almost
Vlog
right
a
on top
few.
of me.
Show
I started
off.
looking around, but there were so many people. Any one of them could have had my phone. I told my friends this, and they seemed as shocked as I was. All except Taylor. It looked like she was trying to hold back laughter. I started getting really annoyed when I noticed she found my situation funny. A few hours later, we found ourselves in the arcade at the back of the boat, messing around with the childish games and whatnot. Again, I pulled out my laptop, and once more, my phone's location was basically on top of me. Now I was furious. Whoever had my phone was following me around the boat. It had to be Taylor. That fatty thought this whole thing was a big joke. I confronted her, showing her proof on my laptop. She insisted that she had no idea what happened to my phone, and it
Somebody's
wasn't her fault
following
that I
y'all,
was
bro.
so
He's right
stupid
near
that
y'all
I couldn't
niggas.
keep track of it. We started yelling at each other, and I said some pretty mean things. I made her empty her pockets and her purse, which she reluctantly did.
Stop losing customers.
I bet you for sure somebody's right on top of y'all and y'all do not know because y'all are probably blind as hell.
My phone wasn't anywhere in sight though. She called me an idiot again, smirking to herself. I stormed off by myself, tears streaming down my face. I spent the rest of my day in my room and refused to do anything with Taylor for the rest of the night. The next 2 days went by really fast. I refused to hang out with Taylor the whole time, and instead spent both days by myself, randomly checking my phone's location out of desperation. When I got back to my room that night, I noticed something weird. There was an envelope lying on the ground, like someone had slipped it under the door. It was a handwritten letter. I started reading.
Some weird ass shit.
I felt disgusted. Some random guy named Bart Vakinski had supposedly found my phone unlocked, went through it, realized how attractive I was, and wanted to confess his love for me. The letter was really short, but
See, this is that weird ass shit I'm talking about. People like this need to be locked the fuck up. Like, what the hell? You just find a random phone. Oh shit, this is unlocked. Look through the camera roll, right? See pictures of a girl, alright. Now what's going through your head? Nigga, you gonna write a letter, figure out which room she's in, and stalk the fuck out of her all day?
I felt
basically
grossed out.
on top of her ass,
had
nigga.
Full access to my phone and knew what room I was staying in.
Right.
I wanted to cry. I reported this to the crew's security team, hoping they'd be able to do something about it. Unfortunately, they were useless. The good news was that loser Bart didn't try to contact me again, and the cruise ended. Taylor and I made up, and the four of us parted ways.
Like
I
always.
wish I could tell you the story ended there, though. That same night, after my dad drove me home, I was up late watching reality TV on my laptop. That's when it hit me. Why not check my phone's location now? I was kicking myself for not having thought about that sooner. I pulled it up and waited for it to
It's outside your house.
I stared in shock as I realized the little blue dot was showing up right on top of my house.
Nigga, on everything I have not seen this reaction. I am on point.
Blood ran cold. I screamed, waking my family up. My dad burst into my room, realized what was going on, and sprinted outside in his bare feet, brandishing his hunting rifle. I followed close behind. My dad fired a shot into the air and screamed at the top of his lungs.
Yeah, that nigga following you.
Some guy jumped our side gate and sprinted down the street. My dad hesitated before deciding not to follow him. I was mortified. My dad and I made our way around back, and the scene was horrific. One of my dad's backyard ladders was leaned up against the side of the house, directly under
looking in your window, bro.
Even more horrifying, though, was that little wooden latch above the window was almost completely cut through. Maybe a few more minutes, and he would have been able to open the window. I might not have been alive telling the story if I had gone to sleep instead of checking my location. We filed a police report. My phone has been deactivated, but I can only imagine what kind of data he was able to keep. I'll update if something else happens.
Alright, y'all, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you subscribe, man. We out.